Hey y'all, I'm the Midwest Hack, and in this video, I'm going to be back to work on my Allis-Chalmers Series 4 D17. If any of y'all have been following along on this channel, you may remember from all the problems with my D17 video that the coolant temperature gauge wasn't working. You may also remember that when I replaced the head gasket, I ended up cutting it off since the hex was in such bad shape that I couldn't get it out easily. I'm sure I could have gotten it out with a little bit more effort, but why put that effort into a gauge that doesn't work anyway? So I removed the old gauge. I've got a measurement on it. I had read that it was supposed to be a 2-inch gauge. Sure enough, it checks out at 2 inches. I did some searching on Summit Racing's website. I found this line of iEquus performance gauges. The water temperature gauge is electric rather than mechanical. Decided to go that route so that I could just disconnect it rather than taking it out and I won't lose any coolant. So today we're going to be getting this thing installed. I'll get it unpackaged and see what I've got for fittings. Hopefully I've got everything I need to get moving on this. The gauge sender is 1/8 NPT. They do include an adapter to go up to 3/8. Hopefully hopefully that'll fit in here. It looks like it's going to be about the right size. We'll get that put together. All right, I got the sender installed in the adapter. I did break this loose. Now we'll spin it out quick and hopefully not lose too much coolant because we're not going to take the time to drain it down. Oddly seems to be under some pressure. There we go, getting the mess cleaned up now. Next up, we're going to get the gauge put in the instrument panel. This gauge has 5 electrical connections to it, 2 just for the light. I'm going to be skipping those for now since this tractor doesn't have any working lights on it. That'll be part of my rewire project when I get to it. And then we have power, ground, and the sense wire that actually hooks up to the sender. But first things first, we're going to get this put into the instrument panel and the nut put on the back. All right, let's see if I have enough clearance to get this in. The gauge panel on bolts easy enough, but with the other stuff that's connected to the back side of it, I can't move it very far. I knocked the light out of it while I was tightening it up. In hindsight, I would take that out before trying it and then put it back in when I'm done. That should do it. These are the terminals they give you to use. There's 1 uninsulated ring terminal, 3 insulated spades, a couple nuts, and a star washer. I'm going to check and see what I have for wire. Those look like they should probably be 18 gauge. I think I have 14 gauge. We'll see if that'll work in there. 14 gauge wire does seem to fit these terminals just fine. I've got a piece of heat shrink cut. Get it back out of the way for right now. For crimping these, I'm going to use my WeatherPack crimper. I just took the guide piece off the back side. Got a pretty nice crimp on that. Slide the heat shrink down. That should help keep moisture out of the wire. All right, back to the tractor. I'm going to try getting this done from the back side so I don't block your view so much. The instructions say that a nut goes on first, then your ring terminal, and a star washer and the other nut. All right, I'll get those tightened up. I spent a little bit of time looking at how I want to run this wire. Going down the right side, the other side, or coming down this side. I decided I'm going to stick with this side. The main harness, or what's left of it, runs down this side already, so I'm just going to follow that routing. This is going to be temporary until I rewire the rest of the tractor, but I do still want to do a decent job. I don't want to be having problems with this until then. Using 2 zip ties like that, you hold it out away from the steel so your steel doesn't rub through your insulation, or at least not quite as fast. All right, I should be ready to get that cut to final length and get the spade terminal put on there. Okay, I switched over to the other side now. I got the wire cut to length and stripped. I got a piece of heat shrink on there. Now I'm not real impressed with insulated terminals, so I cut the insulation off. We'll put a roll crimp on that just like I did on that ring terminal before. And we'll get the power and ground set up before I connect that. All right, y'all, as I started looking behind the instrument panel here for a good place to pick up power and ground for that water temp gauge, started looking at the wiring, and I decided that I got that voltmeter to put in anyway. I can kind of clean up several things at once if I just go ahead and put that voltmeter in now, and then it'll make it easier to pick up power for that water temp gauge too. So those 2 big terminals you see there are the back of the ammeter. One of those wires goes direct to the battery, the other one goes to the alternator, and then that blue wire coming out to the left, that is feeding power to the key switch. So I'm going to be taking those off, get the ammeter out of there. I'm going to get the voltmeter in instead. That big wire on the left, the orange one, is going to get eliminated. That'll get connected back to the solenoid. I'll be able to eliminate some of the cobbled up mess that I got here, and we'll get the voltmeter in instead. All right, the old ammeter is out. Got the voltmeter, very similar to the water temp gauge. I did take the backlight out this time, and we just have a positive and negative to hook up here. So let me get this put in. And get the backlight put in. There we go. All right, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time going over this since my wiring is pretty cobbled up here, and it probably isn't going to help anybody else knowing what my wiring looks like. The orange wire that was hooked to the back of that ammeter is coming up here, and it goes into this blue wire. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. And this blue wire ends up feeding up to the alternator on the battery, the B+ terminal of the alternator. So this wire is not going to be needed. I don't need it going to the instrument panel anymore. It's just going to get connected direct to the solenoid. This is the big red wire that was connected to the back of the ammeter. Somebody's got a spade connector here, and that was picking up power from the post on the solenoid. Now that wire's long enough, I can run that straight to the solenoid. I'm going to go ahead and do that. There's no need to have this jumper in there. So I'll find a ring terminal that'll fit this. Unfortunately, that wire is in pretty rough shape, but it's going to be no worse than it was before. We'll get that done. All right, we got this little piece of jumper wire taken out. Got the terminal, cut off the big red wire, stripped back. I polished up that copper a little bit. It's kind of shiny. It's better than I expected it to be, actually. I got a piece of heat shrink for that to go on there. The battery cable I also shined up a little bit, so that should make some better contact. The ring terminal I had on hand wasn't quite big enough to fit this terminal. I had to open it up a little bit. Unfortunately, you mangle them a little bit when you do that. All right, there's one taken care of, one more to go. All right, y'all, I snipped off this orange wire where it was headed up to the instrument panel. This blue wire where it's spliced together here goes to the alternator. So this can reach now to this terminal. No longer needs to go through the ammeter. We'll put a piece of heat shrink on there. I opened up another ring terminal so that it fits here. All right, I should be ready to grease those rings and the terminal and put that back together. All right, now that I got the wiring done at the solenoid, I can redo this red wire. Instead of using a ring terminal to connect to the back of the ammeter, this is going to connect direct to the key switch now. That'll work. Need some heat shrink though. My first time using this heat shrink, I'm not sure it should shrink far enough. All right, I will get that connected to the key switch in place of this blue wire that had been jumping over from the ammeter. All right, y'all, last thing I'm gonna do for tonight is make up a little harness to jump power from the key switch over to those two new gauges. All right, this will plug into the key switch, and each one of these will plug into the positive terminal on one of those new gauges. Last piece of harness I need is going to be a ground to ground those two gauges. All right, we'll get those installed on the gauges and then figure out where I'm going to ground it. All right, that ground is hooked up to the gauges. What I've decided to use for a ground point is there's a cross strap underneath the fuel tank and the fuel tank bracket with a couple of holes in it. I don't know if those holes are intended for something else or not, but for now we're going to use them for a ground. I've got a 1/4-inch bolt stuck through there. Got it cleaned up a little bit. We'll get a ring terminal put on that. That'll allow me to put several grounds in the same point as I do more work on this instrument panel. All right, I got the wire trimmed to length and stripped with a piece of heat shrink on there. That should do it. Well, everything's connected. Let's turn the key on and see how we did. Volts is showing 12, and I did warm the tractor up a little bit. It looks like we're up around 180. Let's see how it does with it running and charging. Well, there you have it. It looks like it charges it a little bit better than 14 volts. Once you bring the RPM up, drop it back down, it's still charging, not very much at idle, but looks like that'll work. Well, there you go. That pretty much does it for this project. I have a couple working gauges now. That makes me feel better. I can kind of keep an eye on things. No rest for me, though. I'm already partway into the process of converting the snap coupler on this over to a 3-point. If you're interested in seeing that process, make sure to keep an eye out for that next video. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope to see you on the next one.